That's me celebrating. It's celebration time. G'day, everybody. It's Peter and Sal here with Fitness After 50 FAQs. And today's question is, I'm disappointed in myself and my results, and I just can't seem to move forward with my health and fitness goals. So can you help me? We have so many stories about this, don't we, Sal?
We do. We do.
Yeah, but what happened is this is such a big question. You know, if you become disappointed in yourself and the results and not achieving what you want to achieve. And so we thought that today what we would do is we're going to break it down. We're just going to talk about one thing, and that is celebrating your achievements, because that you learn to love yourself a little bit more when you celebrate those achievements. It boosts your self-esteem and it gives you a more positive outlook on life. So what we want to focus on is having you focus to not focus on your disappointments in life, but to try and change that around and celebrate, look for those small achievements that you have each and every day. And so I'm going to start with the release of dopamine into your brain. You know, when you actually celebrate something, you just activate that pleasure and reward part of your brain. And that means that you're boosting your mood and you have a greater sense of achievement. So it's definitely a great way, great thing that it does to your body when you actually celebrate.
And it gives you a little bit more confidence to move forward.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, it
Mm,
does. Yeah.
it does. It gives you that confidence. I've achieved something. This is
Mm,
what I'm celebrating. Okay, I'm looking for that next thing that I'm going to achieve.
yeah. Yep. So, have you got something that you want to share with us there about celebrating?
Celebrating, it doesn't always have to be anything big.
Oh,
As you
yeah.
said, it's the small wins. It could be, hey, I got the washing done today. It could be, oh, I mowed my yard. Little things, celebrate the
Mm.
little things. Don't always, I think we always look for the big things we need to celebrate. We don't find them in our day, and then that can bring that disappointment in too. So
Yeah,
it doesn't matter how small those little wins are.
no, that's exactly right. I'm going to talk about Andre, and I think that it's important because this is like in my head right now. And so she started with us, and we could actually see, you know, the changes happening in her body. We could see how she was getting fitter, she was getting stronger. But when we said to her, you know, how are you feeling and everything like that, she said, oh, I'm a little bit disappointed in myself. Like, why? Because I've only lost, you know, it was like 500 grams or something like that. And I said to her, okay, I'm going to go and have a look at your check-in. And when I did that, I said to her, you've lost, it was a massive amount of body fat. It was like 3.3 kilos of body fat. And I said, you're seeing this tiny little number on the scale, and it's not really a tiny little number. 500 grams is great result. But you know, you're seeing this number and you wanted it to be a lot bigger, and you actually have achieved something. You are changing your body shape. If you look at your measurements, they're all down. If you think about it, you have now created more lean body mass, and so you have decreased the body fat, and that's really important when it comes to fighting those chronic illnesses, and just having a healthy life. And so I'm going to ask you this question, like, what are you noticing outside of those number, that number on the scale? And there were heaps of things that she came up with, right? Because
Yeah,
you asked
heaps.
her, you then asked her that question. So what'd you come up with?
And yeah, so it was, oh, I can get up and down off the floor now. I can squat, and it's so much easier to squat now. I don't struggle to get back up. And it was, I can lift, lots of groceries into the house now.
Yeah.
So it was all these little things. But it's interesting because, as you said, she was disappointed in the 500. And when she said to me about it as well, she said, oh, I've only lost 500 grams, but. And it's like, well, she's focused on that disappointment first rather than that stuff, you know, but I know I can get up and down off the floor now. I wasn't able to do that, you know. I can squat now because I wasn't able to do that. She went straight to the negative and not the positive.
So how do we change that? Like, how do we firstly change women's perception that it is all about, you know, the physical activity, the training that you're doing, the exercising that you're doing is all about the number on the scale? How do we
Women
change?
are not, sorry, can I just say,
Yeah, go for it.
you know, in society, women are not allowed to celebrate themselves.
No.
We have to be cheerleaders. We don't have to be, but that's what we do. We're cheerleaders for everybody else but ourselves.
Yeah. But, you know, we are so focused on that we've got to look a certain way or we've got to be a certain weight, as opposed to, how do I feel? Like, what are the things that I'm actually doing at this age that somebody else isn't doing? And it isn't about comparing yourself to somebody else. It's about celebrating the fact that you can do those other things. So how do you change this ingrained thing that we have, that's come from, you know, when we were young women growing up, young girls growing up, that it is all about how you look as opposed to how do I feel? Like, am I feeling strong? Can I do these things?
Yeah. And it's such a hard, you know, I'm sitting here thinking about my mum, you know, watching her when I was younger, and she'd be, you know, lunch would be a sayo with a slice of tomato on it. And,
Oh,
you know, she'd be in the hallway doing those bum walks up and down the hallway. And, you know,
I could see Barb doing that.
yeah. You know, and then it was scales in the bathroom and she'd be weighing herself and all that sort of thing. So, yeah, absolutely. I think it comes from our childhood and watching, you know, our mothers and our grandmothers do those sort of things. And such a, what word am I looking for? Only men are strong and only men have muscles.
Mm,
You know, as you said, it's such a body image thing that is ingrained in us.
yeah. And so today is all about taking that first step to flipping that switch. So if you're listening to this, it is about flipping that switch and not thinking about what that number is on the scale or how you look, but how you feel. And if how you feel is directly related to that number, then it's time to really, really think about where that's come from. Okay. So we do need to go back to that, because this is a belief that we have. Okay. So it's ingrained in us, but is it true? Is it really factual that you are of no value and you are not worth anything if you are not looking a certain way or that you aren't a certain weight? The answer to the question is no. You know, you are definitely worth something, but you have to be the person to change that. So you need to start to look at the positives of yourself and celebrate those positives.
And
So,
you have to, as you said, look inwards when you're looking for those positives. I had a lady, and she was a bigger lady, and she was at the pool every day working out, terrified to go up into the gym because of the way she looked, terrified, never knew how to use a treadmill. And I was watching her one day, and, you know, because I go to the gym, to the pool with my client, and I was watching her one day, and there's a handrail on the pool, and this day she's getting out of the pool without using the handrail.
Yes.
As
Yes.
she's telling me, I really need to lose this weight. Once I lose this weight, I can go up to the gym. And I looked at her and I went, you do realize you just got out of this pool without holding onto the handrail.
Correct.
That's what you need to celebrate. You've done that. You have built that strength to get out of this pool without holding onto the handrail. Stop looking at how you look, but how you feel and what you've just achieved. And the smile on her face, because she didn't realize that could be celebrated.
And here's the thing, Sal, that as coaches, we're looking constantly for those small things. So as females, we need to start looking at ourselves and seeing those small wins.
Small things, yeah.
Yeah. And we also need to create some type of celebration ritual for ourselves. So if we've created a ritual of jumping on the scales every day, then let's put those scales away and replace it with a celebration. And what would that celebration look like? It could simply be like, I love nice smells, right? So I light a candle of a morning, a smelly candle, and it's like, oh, that's nice. That's just me celebrating my senses.
Yeah.
That I can smell.
Yeah.
So, and you said this earlier, that celebration doesn't have to be something that's massive. It can be something as small as lighting a candle or going for a 10-minute walk outside or giving yourself a pat on the back.
Pat on the back, exactly.
Yeah.
One wonderful idea to do is go out and buy yourself a beautiful vase. Go out and buy your favorite coloured Post-it notes. Every day, put the date on the Post-it note and what your small win was for that day. Put it in that jar, and in a year's time, read your wins from the last year.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Well, there's a challenge, ladies. I think that's a great challenge, Sal, that you just set. So today, you might already have a lovely vase, but you might want to go and buy a new one. So get that vase out, grab those Post-it notes, and let's start writing down something that you can celebrate today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something small, does not have to be big.
Yeah. And if you look at, for example, gridiron players and now in the NRL here in Australia and some of the sporting environments, they have these little rituals that when they score, they do something. It could be a dance, it could be a flip. It's all sorts of things. That's a celebration ritual that they have created. So what that does is reinforces that they did an awesome job, and it gives them momentum to keep repeating that and doing it over and over again, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah.
Oftentimes in the studio, we'll get our ladies, as you said, to turn around,
Give themselves a pat on
the back.
Yeah, yeah.
And the smiles that come on their faces.
Because
they realise they've done a good job.
But even just getting someone to do a thumbs up, you can see instantaneously if we say, put your thumbs up. You can see the women who go straight into it and give you a smile. But you can also see the women who, the thumbs may not even be showing, or they might turn their back because it's not, it could be that they're not comfortable with a thumbs up. Okay. So that's first and foremost, but it could simply be that they don't see it as a celebration, that they've just done a workout. You could, there's the book by Mel Robbins that's called The High Five Habit, right? So it's a habit of giving yourself a high five in the bathroom mirror every morning. And it's a great book. And if you're someone who does struggle to celebrate, definitely grab that book and have a little read of it. Now, I'm not a high fiver. I didn't grow up on high fives. It wasn't the thing in my day. But we would do the little old fist pump thing. Yeah, yes, I did that. So, instead of doing that high five each day, I go, okay. So, and, so sometimes, I'll look at my face as an example. And years ago, I got a burn across part of my face. And some days it's really blotchy and red and, whatever. And I look at that and I have to stop myself from going and focusing on that red blotchy thing and go, well, hang on a minute, your eyes look sparkly today. So I'm actually looking for things that I can celebrate for myself. And I think we have just lost Sal from the recording. So, all right. So what I want you to do, ladies, is to think about what types of things that you can create for yourself. You're back again, Sal. I can see your head nodding now.
Did I freeze?
You froze.
Sorry,
You were frozen. I was just kept on talking. So what I want you to
God
do
bless the
today
internet.
is think about, like, what are those rituals that you can create for yourself, and how might you go about doing them. So the first thing is just a simple acknowledgement, and that requires you to spend a little bit of time in reflection. So I'm not sure that you heard of me talking about my face and my sparkly eyes
Yes,
before. Yeah, you did.
yes, I did.
Okay.
I did.
Okay. Is there something about yourself that when you look in the mirror that, you go to the negative and then you have to, pull yourself away from the negative and find the positive?
Um, I look at myself in the mirror and I go, "Oh my goodness, you look old." But then I think,
Don't we all?
but then I think, "Oh, I'm not old. I'm probably just feeling old," you know? Um,
Ah.
but because I'm seeing myself, I'm going, "Gee, you look old." But I did get a beautiful compliment the other day from one of Olivia's friends, so she's now my best friend forever. Um, she thought I was still in my 40s. So, yeah, she's my best friend forever now.
That's a thumbs up, isn't it? That's a big
Isn't
thumbs
it?
up. Yeah, I know. I look at, sometimes and I go, oh, look at those wrinkles there. Oh my God, like what's going on there? And, looking at those wrinkles, it reminds me to hydrate,
To drink your water.
to drink my
Yeah.
water. So when I drink my water, I go, you did a good job. You drank your water.
Yeah. And see that, even that's just a small win, because
Yeah.
how often do we not drink our water?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, the other thing that you can do is when you're creating this ritual, start journaling.
Yeah.
So challenge yourself each day at the end of the day to write down what it is that you're celebrating about yourself. Um, Practice that self-talk. So stop focusing on the negative. And if you find yourself, talking about your wrinkles as an example, then go looking for the thing that is more positive, like your sparkly eyes or something.
Yeah.
You can also put into place some type of reward. And as we said, the reward can be, the pat on the back or the fist pump or something like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be, I'm going out for a 3-course meal with some friends.
Yeah. And I'm having 5 desserts.
Yeah, that's right. The other thing about celebrating is telling someone about it. Now, if that somebody rolls their eyes at you and goes, like, what, that's just ridiculous. They're not the right person. Okay, move on to somebody else.
Yes.
Because you do want that tribe of people around you that are there to, celebrate those wins with you. And if you think it's a win, then it's a win.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not about them thinking that it's too small as well too. Um, I like the fact that you included that visual reminder as well too. So the vase situation and putting your
Yeah.
little wins into a post-it note. Tell me, is that something that you do?
No. Huh?
Is it something
I
you're
saw
going to start?
it's something I'm going to start because I saw
Okay.
it probably about 2 weeks ago,
Hmm.
and it was to do with children. I think the different milestones of children and all that sort of thing.
Yeah,
And
okay.
then, and I thought, what a wonderful idea for
Positive
yourself
reinforcement
to
for
do,
female.
positive
Yeah.
reinforcement. And then, it brings back memories of that year before.
Yeah.
Oh, remember that? Oh, remember
Yeah.
that? I think as we get older, we, start reminiscing a lot. Um, and I think it's a wonderful way to, you know, as you said, journal, write down little bits and pieces of your journey from the year before,
Mm,
especially if you
mm,
have goals, if you have
yeah.
any, your wellness goals, those sort of things. But can
That
I
was,
just go back to what you were saying about telling somebody
mm,
of your win?
yeah, go for it.
Um, don't be afraid, ladies, being on that other side. If you see one of your friends doing something and you've gone, oh my goodness, wow, look at her now. Look what she's
Mm.
doing. Remind her, tell her, lift her up.
Yes, because she may not be seeing it. It's like the woman in the pool you talked about. She didn't see the
Yes.
fact that she didn't use the handrail anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, it is important for us to, as women, to support other women as well too, or family members. It doesn't necessarily
Yeah.
have to be women. It can be other people as well too. Um, I think that including some little treats, indulgences that are important to you. I was listening to someone the other day, and he was talking about, he has money to buy, a fancy pants car if he wants to, but cars are not his thing. But when he's traveling, he loves great hotels that provide good service. So he will splurge on a great hotel and enjoying that service. So, and that's how he celebrates for himself, which I like that concept because we're not
Yeah.
all the same, and that celebration is going to be different for each and every one of us.
Yeah.
So,
And the celebration can be, you have all those small wins for the month. For example, we've done it before. So you might have all those small wins for the month. At the end
yes,
of the month, I'm going to celebrate and I'm going to go and try aerial yoga.
oh yeah,
Peter and I have tried that.
I loved it.
Um, yes, I did love it. I wasn't the most elegant person up in there. But
Uh-huh.
it might be something that you want to try. So as you said, you're splurging, but you're not spending money on yourself every day.
Yeah,
Give yourself a reward at the end of a set period.
yeah. I just wrote down in my book 90 days. So 90 days is a really lovely period as well too. So it's 3 months. And you can certainly see a lot of achievements in 90 days. But one of the masterminds I was in, we would get together every 90 days. And the very first thing that they would have you do is write down all of the things that you achieved in that 90 days. And I could tell you, Sal, it was such a struggle. I used to have to go and look at my calendar and see everything that had happened during the course of that 90 days to work out what it was that I had achieved so that I could celebrate those things, which brings me to that point of writing down that celebration. Because if you don't write it down, you're never going to remember it. And when we write something down, we're 42% more likely to recall it. So physically writing as opposed to typing connects our writing, our hands, to our brain. And so it just puts it into that memory bank. So I think,
And it's a second reinforcement of, yeah, I did achieve this.
yeah, that's right. So any wrap ups, Sal?
No, I just think that you just need to, my wrap up is throw the scales away.
Yeah.
They're
Well, don't
out.
throw them away. You don't have to throw them away, you
Hide
know.
them.
Yeah, hide them. Yeah. It's like if your focus is weight loss, then get your measuring spoons out and your measuring cups. And get the food scales out,
Yeah,
because they're going to
yeah,
be of greater benefit to you. They're going to help you positively make changes, as opposed to the scales that you're going to jump on each morning.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, just wrapping up on celebration, it doesn't, and I'm going to come back to this, and we both said it, it doesn't have to be time consuming. It doesn't have to be extravagant. It is just about cultivating some type of self-appreciation and recognizing your own efforts. And when you find yourself going to that, beating yourself up, go, stop. I'm going to go and look for the thing that is positive about me right now, and I'm going to celebrate it. So wave your hands around, give yourself a pat on the back, do a high five, whatever it happens to be. But it could just be, and I'm going to come back to Andre now, because she had a massive achievement during the course of this week, where she actually saw the number on the scale change. And so then I reminded her of what that meant in body fat. And then I asked her the question, what are you feeling? And this is what I want you to focus on, is what are you feeling? And did you celebrate it? And she said she got out and she did a happy dance, and she did the dance around the place. And I went, love it. Love that you actually celebrated it. But when you don't see that number change on the scale, I want you to go looking for those feelings. I want you to go looking for all of those other things. And I want you to still give it the happy dance. Because when you move your body, you actually change your physiology, and it does make you feel better. So that is a positive reinforcement for you.
Definitely.
Oh dear, that was a good one. I'm celebrating you
this.
today, Sal. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm going to celebrate you too.
Thank you.
I was going to say, when you were talking about looking in the mirror and your sparkly eyes, so I was going to say, and your pretty hair too.
It's washed, it's cleaned. It's going to look different soon. It's about to have a little curling one put through it. So then I'll be celebrating my fancy hair. All right, ladies, thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining me, Sal. Really appreciate your time. Okay,
No
thanks,
worries.
everybody. See you all soon. Bye.
Bye.